Hello students, let's discuss the physical and chemical properties of the non-metals. So first we'll discuss physical properties of non-metals. Physical properties of non-metals. Very first property is non-metal can exist in three forms of the matter, that is solid, liquid and gases. So non-metals exist in three forms of the matter, three forms of matter. And usual three matters are, these are solid, liquid and gases. Correct? This is the first property. Let's go for the second one. Non-metals are not at all malleable. Like metals were malleable, but non-metals are not malleable. So non-metals are not malleable. Not malleable. The same way, non-metals are not ductile. Non-metals are not ductile. Like metals, non-metals are not ductile. Right? Number 4. Non-metals are not sonorous. If we stuck with something hard, it is not going to produce any kind of a ringing sound. So non-metals are not sonorous. Correct? Fifth one. Non-metals are not lustrous also. Non-metals are not lustrous. But here we have an exception. What is that exception? Exception is iodine. Iodine is a non-metal. It is a non-metal, but it does what? It does have lustrous, shining surface. It does have lustrous property. Iodine is lustrous in nature. Lustrous in nature. Correct? 6. Usually non-metals are gaseous in state, but the solid are amorphous solid. What are amorphous solid? These appears to be solid, but if you take into the hands and just squeeze it will turn into the powder. That kind of a solid which has very bounding material is not there. It cannot bound its particles together. That kind of solid is amorphous solid. So usually non-metals. Usually non-metals are gaseous, but if they are solid, these are called as amorphous solid. Amorphous solid. What is amorphous solid? If it just take in hand and squeeze, it will turn into the powder. That kind of a solid is called as amorphous solid. Here, you remember bromine is the non-metal which is available in the liquid form. Remember that bromine is the non-metal in liquid form. So in very first property we have said non-metal exists in solid, liquid and gases. Let's move ahead and discuss the 7th property. Now 7th property is non-metals are bad conductors electricity. You remember that metals were good conductor of electricity because they have free electrons. In their valence electron, there are free electrons are present. So we say metals can release their electrons. So moving of electron was called as electricity. In this case, non-metals are actually gaining the electron. They don't have free electrons. So that is why we say non-metals are bad conductor of electricity. But there is an exception. Exception is graphite. Graphite is the non-metal which conduct electricity. Conduct electricity. Now, another exception we'll discuss. I said non-metals are usually gaseous in state, but you see, they are solid. If they are solid, they are amorphous solid. But in case of a diamond, diamond is the very solid and hardest substance available on the earth. So diamond is also an exception. Diamond, although is a non-metal, but very solid, unlike other non-metals, right? So these are basically properties of the non-metals. Remember that. One more property we'll discuss, that is non-metals have low melting point and boiling point. Why so? Very simple. The bond between the non-metal is always covalent bond, and covalent bond is a very, very weak bond. Breaking them requires a very low kind of energy. So what is a melting point? The energy required to overcome the force of attraction between the particles. When the force of attraction is very less, the required energy is also very less. And that is why non-metals have low melting and boiling point. Correct? So let's discuss the chemical properties of the non-metals. First thing you have to remember, non-metals loses electron. They loses electron and become, क्या बन जाएंगे? Negatively charged anion, because they have gained one electron. One electron gaining means gaining negatively charged. Charge, if the negative charge is gained, the atom becomes negatively charged ion, that is called as anion. So this is the one thing you remember that. Let's take one example out of that. If the nitrogen is there, let's take nitrogen. Now what is the atomic number of the nitrogen? It is 7. What is the EC? 27. Now, if atomic number is 7, the EC electronic configuration is 2, 5. It is going to have 3 electrons addition to get stability. When it is going to have 3 electrons, then it will become what? It will become negatively charged anion. Negatively charged anion. There will be 3 negative charge after gaining the electrons. So remember, non-metals gains electrons and become negatively charged anion. The second property, like in metals we have discussed, we will discuss in non-metals also. Reaction of non-metals with oxygen. Reaction of non-metal with oxygen. Now, metal react with the oxygen to form metal oxide. Non-metal will react with the oxygen to form non-metal oxide. Let's take few examples. Carbon react with the oxygen to form carbon dioxide. Sulfur react with the oxygen to form sulfur dioxide. Simple. Non-metal react with the oxygen to form non-metal oxide. Let's take another example. Phosphorus reacting with the oxygen to form 2p2O5, means phosphorus pentaoxide. phosphorus pentaoxide. So another non-metal oxide. Remember, these are very simple kind of equations. You should practice them, go through them. These are like metals, non-metals also react to produce non-metal oxide. The third property which is concerned with the non-metal oxide, that is nature of non-metal oxide. Nature of non-metal oxide. Nature of non-metal oxide. Now, let's go back to the metals. Metal oxides were basic in nature because when they are dissolved in water, they produces the base, hydroxide, metal hydroxide. In case of non-metal oxide, when they are dissolved in water, they produces acid. So we say nature of the non-metal oxides are acidic in nature. Let's take example. So nature of non-metal oxide, let's see. Sulfur dioxide, if added into the water, what will happen? It is going to produce sulfurous acid. This is not sulfuric, H2SO3. This is sulfurous acid. Right? Then let's take an example of carbon dioxide. If carbon dioxide is dissolved in water, you see, you must be taking cold drinks. Cold drinks are aerated drinks, means in the water, carbon dioxide is flushed and it forms carbonic acid. Carbonic acid. Okay. So, by these two examples, we come to know what is the nature of non-metal oxide. Non-metal oxides are acidic in nature. Acidic in nature. Very simple. Why? Because when they are dissolved in water, they produces acid. Let's go for the fourth property of non-metal. Reaction of non-metals. Reaction of non-metal with dilute acids. Usually, non-metal do not react with the acids to produce salt and water. Why? Because non-metals gain electron. Unlike metals, non-metals gain electron. They do not release the electron, so that these electron which any element releases will be gained by the hydrogen present in the acid, and it will get reduced to hydrogen molecule. In this case, non-metals actually gain the electron, do not releases the electron. In usual cases, non-metals do not react with the acids. Remember that. So non-metal usually, I said usually means some of the examples are there. Usually non-metals do not react with dilute acids to produce salt and water. Why so? Because non-metals do not have free electrons which can be released. Rather, they gain electrons. This is the basic logic. First of all, the second point is some exceptions are there. In that cases, these non-metals react with the dilute acid. Like, let's have an example of sulfur reacting with sulfuric acid. In this case, reaction of non-metal and dilute sulfuric acid does happen. It does happen, and it produces sulfur dioxide. It produces sulfur dioxide and water. So means a displacement of hydrogen is there which has taken place, right? So it is going to produce sulfur dioxide, let's say balancing is sulfur dioxide and water. Another exception case, this is one of the exception. Another exception case is when sulfur is reacting with the nitric acid. That's also an example. Sulfur reacting with the nitric acid. HNO3 is nitric acid. It is reacting to produce, this is very special, it is going to produce sulfuric acid plus brown fumes of nitrogen dioxide and water. Brown fumes of nitrogen dioxide. So, in this case, non-metal reacting with another dilute acid to produce sulfuric acid means another acid. You know that this is a commercial method of making sulfuric acid. Right? Very exceptional cases. One more exception we will discuss. Let's take few space from here. In that case, phosphorus actually is reacting with the nitric acid. This is phosphorus which is reacting with the nitric acid. When phosphorus, which is a non-metal, reacting with the nitric acid, it is going to produce what? Phosphoric acid, another acid which is phosphoric acid. See, very different kind of reaction which occurs. Phosphorus reacting with one acid to produce another acid. Correct? Along with that, water is also being produced. So these are exceptional cases where the non-metal react with the acids to produce another acid. This is another exceptional example in which non-metal is reacting with the nitric acid, one acid, to produce another acid, phosphoric acid, and water. So remember, these are very, very important chemical equations in case of the non-metal chemical properties of non-metals. Another chemical property is, that's number 6, reaction of non-metal with chlorine. Reaction of non-metal with chlorine. See, chlorine itself is a non-metal. So non-metal is reacting with the chlorine to form what? Let's see. Now, if we take an example of phosphorus. Phosphorus reacting with the chlorine to form. Phosphorus will react with the chlorine to form what? You see, it is going to produce phosphorus chloride salt. Phosphorus chloride salt. So, exceptional non-metal reacting with the non-metal. Chlorine is also non-metal to produce a salt that's called phosphorus chloride. Phosphorus chloride. Non-metal behavior is really very exceptional in a few of the cases. Remember, the same way, sulfur also react with the chlorine to form sulfur chloride. Although the correct name given is sulfur monochloride. But here I am presenting with a Cl2 means dichloride. Actually, if we take the valences are going to cut each other. Ultimately, sulfur monochloride is going to form. But usually, existence of sulfur chloride is basically in the S2 and Cl2 form. But we write sulfur monochloride. Remember that. Okay. So these are two examples where non-metal is reacting with the chlorine. One more, reaction of nitrogen with hydrogen. Reaction of nitrogen with hydrogen. Let's see. Nitrogen reacting with the hydrogen. It is although a reversible reaction. How it is reversible, we will discuss that also. Hydrogen is reacting always at temperature of 500 degrees Celsius to produce ammonia gas. But this ammonia gas which is produced is collected in a cold container. Why so? If it is contained in a normal container, this particular reaction produces heat also. That container actually will gain the heat, and ultimately after gaining the heat, what will happen? The reaction will get reversed, means ammonia will start breaking into nitrogen and hydrogen. So to avoid that, ammonia is always collected in a cold container. It is going to contain in a cold container. So reaction as per the chemical properties, reaction of nitrogen and hydrogen always produces ammonia. So these are the chemical properties of the non-metals. I feel it will help you. If any problem, you can push your questions into the box. Take care. Bye.